Hello and welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. It's payments talk time again, and we are talking to another interesting luminary from the world of payments. Let me introduce you to Manish Patel, who is the CEO of Mswipe. The company pioneered in some very interesting payment systems for India, especially making payments more accessible to the merchants with its launch when it launched few years ago. And recently, they have also introduced a brand EMI based payments solution where they have brought in loyalty and brand EMI together into their payment system. Let's learn a little bit from Manish on what trends are seen in the payments industry. Manish, welcome to Banking Frontiers Live.
Babu Nair, thanks so much for having me. Really appreciate it, and thanks so much for the kind words. I'm humbled, and um, you know, like I said, pleasure to be with you.
Thanks, Manish. So, Manish, how have you seen the business change in the last few months? And what changes have has it brought in your business, in your innovations, or in your offerings to the market now?
So, you know, before COVID, I think we were all quite excited and cruising along very well. Like many businesses, COVID was a rude shock, but thankfully. Uh, I think the business model and the customer base that we had set up uh, has, in my mind, helped us, dodge a bullet because these are anomalies that you may prepare for everything, but sometimes these just happen. It's a curved ball, right? And you don't expect it. But like I said, very thankful to all our customers who have continued to use our platforms and services through this time. Uh, and many of our customers have not been easy. These were tough times. Some part of our customer base has just been uh, very high. It's been high growth for them. Especially kiranas, pharmacies, path labs, etc. COVID for us was a learning experience. But during this time, what has really emerged is, like I mentioned, the resilience of our business model. We're now pretty much EBITDA break even, and I think we navigated this quite well. We also used this time to launch some very exciting products. And this is also largely on the back of a change in customer requirements, right? I mean, we've been dealing with SMEs for ever since we started business, and largely, payments was a need, especially digital payments, but not an absolute necessity, right? But I think this episode has cemented one reality: is that small, medium, or large, digital payments for merchants is now a necessity. There's also a lot of uh, positive moves from merchants to increase their digital footprint. Right? I mean, to date, I think most, especially SMEs, were quite content with the catchment area that they operated in a geography. But I think they're all very quickly realized that that's not enough. Right? They need to provide a digital connect to their customers. So the inbound requests from customers trying to understand and implement and digitize their businesses has increased significantly. Um, from our side, we believe we've delivered some very exciting products. And the one that we're most excited about is something that we call the bank box. Uh, the bank box is we believe, at least India first, if not a global first, where we have delivered to small merchants um, a very easy, simple to use product that combines both our issuing and our acquiring platforms, all delivered in a single account. We've also launched a value-added service platform that we call our buy now pay later platform that has largely three components. It has a merchant-facing component. It has a issuer-facing component, and it has a brand or an OEM facing component. What the platform does is allows brands to be able to publish offers which subvent interest on EMI options that are presented on the POS. It allows issuers to be able to decide, which are the brands that they really want to work with, almost in real time, basis offers that are published by the OEMs. And as far as the merchant is concerned, he's um, able to very easily and dynamically uh, present these offers to his customer, and helps merchants upsell uh, by offering 0% EMI based or buy now pay later based offers. Now these are typically available. However, they were available only with the top 50 or 80 OEMs, largely in the white goods sector. But the philosophy that we're bringing to the table is, why can I not buy Adidas shoes, on installments, or why can I not buy, um, a vacation, in installments, right? So that is essentially what our buy now pay later platform does. Is, completely democratizes this ability.
How is it different from most of these cards which are already having this? Uh, you know, uh, you definitely get calls from banks that you have already made a purchase worth 10,000. Do you want to convert it into an EMI with 3% or whatever? Is the differentiation that it at the purchase level itself you do it, and you pay it as you choose what you want, or is it that is it something else?
So there are three benefits. The first one is, it is more wide scoped. What I mean by that is, at the point of sale, you have the option to decide to buy a product versus another, which could be a better product, more expensive product, or a wider basket of products, um, knowing fully well that you would be able to, you know, convert this payment into an equated installment. That is benefit number one. The second advantage is that brands are able to incentivize customers to purchase their products by offering schemes, discounts. Typically, the discount that gets offered is a 0% EMI. What this means is that, while you as a consumer get installment-based payments, the interest component is paid by the brand, right? So that is an advantage that you don't get when you convert a payment, into EMI on a statement retrospectively. The third advantage that we see is, as far as consumers are concerned, this gives them the ability, uh, to uh, not just sometimes you want impulse purchases, right? And your ability to extend, basis credit lines that you have, uh, is available at the point of sale, rather than, like I said, you already make the purchase, and those are largely planned purchases and then converted into.
So, with options today coming up where you also get cashback as a loyalty,
Mhm. Yes.
uh, Has those kind of things become very prominent in the Indian market? Have you been getting those kind of requests quite often from the people, how to get cash back as a loyalty point rather than just a points and things like that?
So typically there are two types of offers that OEMs on our platform offer. The first one is just a subvention offer where they subvent the interest and offer 0% EMI. The second, and which is increasingly getting traction, is a combination of both subvention of the interest as well as a cashback combined. Right? So you're absolutely right. There is this growing trend of cashbacks on such transactions being offered by brand owners and product owners who want to promote their products. Uh, I think that the rationale there is for a very long time, uh, brands have relied on incentivizing trade channels to sell their products, and boost sales. Uh, for the first time, they think that they have the ability to reach out directly and pass on that benefit to consumers, because many times when it's a trade channel driven incentive, not all of it reaches the end beneficiaries, which are consumers.
Now, what is the next growth going to come from?
India is a massively deep market here, especially in the SME space. Uh, I love to talk about the Indian, merchant pyramid, right? The everyone talks about 40, 50 million merchants in the country, right? But the way we look at it is, it's a pyramid. You've got the top 1.5 to 2 million merchants. These are what we call as large enterprises. These are customers that are long established, big retail stores in their own right. Not just stores; it could be restaurants, hotels, whatever, right? But these are established institutions. These could be either single city, multi city, or regional or national. There are not more than about 1.5 million that are customer facing, where they need face to face payments. Um, this was a space that was occupied by banks and was honestly quite penetrated even when Mswipe entered the business. Right? The next rung of the pyramid is about 8 to 10 million merchants. These are your SMEs. These are businesses that have these are largely owner driven businesses. They have a presence largely. Most of them have a single store, or at best a couple of stores. Um, and they have a permanent place of business, right? Um, our estimates are that there's about 8 to 10 million of such businesses around the country, and then you've got this really long tail of about 30 to 35 million businesses. These are small, or I would say micro businesses, which includes everything from the hawker on the street to your auto rickshaw, business, etc. They generally do not have a permanent place of business. They have a semi-permanent place of business at best. Have some form of local government, registration, but that's where it ends. And the payment requirements of all of these different layers of the pyramid are very different. Right? The top end of the pyramid, they want fully integrated payments that talk to their business systems. They want automated reconciliation of settlements, and they want every single kind of payment acceptance available. On their premises, right? Whether it's online, offline, QR, NFC, tap, swipe, whatever you want, right?
How is the QR code? How secure is the QR code? And what is the next level of security that can be applied to give that kind of trust to the people?
So look, from a platform and overall uh, end-to-end transaction perspective is very secure. Right? I mean, at the end of the day, what what any transaction processing platform needs to do is to identify who the recipient is, and then you can the recipient can either pull a payment from the customer, or the customer can push a payment to the recipient, right, or the merchant. I think UPI and QR based payments largely are push payments, where the customer is using a trusted device to push a payment to a merchant, and hence, those payments are secure. Yes or no, right? So
How about an online customer, say an Amazon or a retail online store is giving a QR code and you are scanning it and taking it? Is it reliable or are there frauds noticed in the market in this area?
look, frauds are at the very basic level, right? The basic level is, uh, you know, anyone can sign up for a QR code today. I will get a QR code, and if I'm working for Amazon, for example, I'm not saying that happens for Amazon, but I'm just taking an example. Or let's say I'm working for an XYZ company, and I'm the employee. I can very easily generate a QR code that's linked to my bank account, and present it to you, and you as a customer will make a payment, and uh, you know, money lands up in my account instead of my employer's account, right?
So when you get into this bank box kind of facility for SMEs, how
Mm-hmm.
does you as a payment service provider earn when there is no MDR? How do you get compensated then for the kind of services that you have in provide?
It's quite simple, right? It's arbitrage, right? Typically, what happens is, as a merchant, um, you know, merchant needs to pay MDR, but that MDR essentially is ultimately largely accrues to the issuer. Some part of it to the card networks, and some part of it to us. That is the overall breakdown of that. What we're doing is, while we absorb this cost for the merchant on our bank box product, since the money lands up in the merchant's card, when the merchant actually goes and spends the money, we are acting as an issuer. So we are then collecting the issuer fees wherever the money got spent from whichever merchant it is,
Oh,
and
oh.
we make good what we bore on behalf of the merchant when he actually spends money. Right. So that's how the product is designed.
Now let me just talk to you about this umbrella payments that is anyways coming into the ecosystem now. Okay.
Hmm.
As a payment player who is there in the market for last few years, over 5 to 7 years now, how do you see this? Do you see this really beneficial to the total ecosystem, or do you think that it is just one more addition or thing like that? What benefits do you see with this umbrella coming in into the ecosystem?
Look, I mean, we're a $2.5 trillion economy, and had it not been for COVID, our prime minister was uh, pretty much on track to put us to a growth trajectory that would take us to about 5 trillion, in about 5 6 years. An economy of our size certainly needs more dynamic, diverse, um, and indigenous payment systems, right?
Thank you very much, Manish, for a wonderful insight and a great conversation and discussion on the payments. This is basically a series of story that we are doing in the area of payments, and we would love to hear more from you in the future once some of these interesting innovations are also coming up. And thank you very much for sparing your time for this wonderful conversation.
Thank you very much for having me.